I just had to mute and say that the birthday month is December, and today the number one zodiac sign is Sagittarius.
Zodiac sign? Is it Aries? Is it Leo? Is it Scorpio? Is it Cancer? Aries working that stuff. Leo's working that stuff. Scorpio's working that stuff. Capricorn, it's your birthday. Capricorn, it's your birthday. Gemini, it's your birthday. Scorpio, it's your birthday. Pisces, it's your birthday.
That's one of my favorite songs. I appreciate that.
Classic.
Because it's Sagittarius season. Full fucking effect. And I'm on my worst behavior. Period. Yeah, that's all. You bored?
Have I been muted that whole time? That's fucking
Yeah,
weird.
you will.
I gotta stop doing that shit. Well, happy birthday, Shu. It is officially Shu Day. Her birthday was last week, Sunday. You are welcome. Well, last week, Sunday. Technically, it is Sunday now. Welcome to Awkward Menage, people. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Shu LaRue, aka Shu Ella DeVille. You can follow me on Instagram at Shu Gotta Have It.
Who you free, man?
That shit didn't work out.
It's logic. Don't really follow me. I don't be talking about shit.
Tell you.
It's the war. And the same with logic. I don't be talking about shit for real. I think I got the least amount of Facebook friends ever in the history of Facebook friends, probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I just want followers. I don't really even be on social media like that.
Yep, I get on
I
there,
just want followers.
post my shit, and get out.
At least
That's usually how it go.
Right, at least I'm honest. I need more than 3 fans. I think I can do for 5 now. I think I gotta work my way up to 5. That's cool.
5. Okay. I didn't even know you could have followers on Facebook. I'm gonna have to look into that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can have followers on there. You can either friend them or follow.
Why not just friend somebody though? Like that doesn't.
I normally friend them. I'm not going to lie.
Because people don't allow you to just straight stalk them no more. If they see you and they know that you're not the move and they don't already told you to battle.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, you stalking somebody that was just on your baby daddy page or some shit like that, and you feel like you need to follow her to keep an eye on her to see if she's still, like what's up. If he be liking her pictures and shit, you know how people do.
Mm-hmm.
Sound like a real in-depth understanding right there.
Yeah. Females, they put everything they do on Facebook.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
I'm happy and in love this week, and now if that nigga ain't shit the next. Damn, why my vagina itching so much? I'm bleeding too much this month. They put everything on it.
One of my cousins threatened to put his social security number on Facebook.
Why?
Like, yeah, just people they don't. It's a disconnect.
I fucked up one time. I put my address on that shit. I ordered a package from somebody, one of my Facebook friends, and I was so excited. I got the package. I took a picture like, oh shit, it's here. And then somebody was like, yo, address and that shit. I was like, oh shit, let me change that.
Well, we run a business from our home, so our address is published. Anybody can get our shit.
Yeah. Yep. That's usually how
Plus,
it goes.
I've been living here forever, so.
Oh, this is interesting. All right, Shu. Well, it is Shoe Day. What we talking
Okay.
about today?
Our first topic is sibling rivalry and how sometimes it can lead to fatal end for some people involved. Case in point, the legendary Roger Troutman of the R&B band Zapp and Roger and his brother, who ultimately murdered him.
Mm.
I think they were feuding over money or property, something like that.
Mm.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, his brother was kind of far gone. I think he might have been sick or something. I don't know, but it's pretty bad. But then you always think about most people. Statistics say that the majority of like fatalities have to do with domestic situations, being people who were either related or in close relation to each other. Like we used
Yep.
to fuck with each other and now we don't.
Nah, you the enemy type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is. A lot of. I was just talking to my dude about
The
that the other
majority of the
day.
time, yes.
Yep, that's
That's what
usually how it
statistics
is. Most crimes aren't random. There's
know.
somebody you know. You might think it's random, but 9 times out of
Exactly.
10, it's somebody you know.
Yeah, most
Whether it was well thought out, planned out, or
Smash and
a,
grab
a-
type shit.
yeah, yeah, totally.
hmm Yeah, man. Sibling rivalries. That shit crazy. I don't know. I was the only girl, so I can't say I really rival with my brothers like that. It was like me versus all of them, technically.
Yeah.
We still, I don't know, we still got along. We still talk to this day. It's cool. I got my issues with them. I'm sure they got their issues with me, but I can't really say like some shit like that, like the Roger Troutman or even the shit you were explaining earlier. And I never
Yeah.
experienced no shit like that. That's just crazy.
Yeah. And then you think about it, but it's typically in situations where there is a large number of siblings.
Mhm.
I read
Mm,
a book on parenting because all I like to do is read. Really don't even matter what I'm reading. But and it said that for a human being to really be like a functional person with like minimal issues in their lives coming up, like from childhood and stuff like that,
mhm.
it's best for them to only be like two kids per family because a child requires the attention of like one full adult, like full on pretty much at all times.
Yeah, that should get, man, the more kids you have, that should
You
get
can't give
harder.
them the attention that
Mm-mm.
they actually fully require for
Nope.
their full development.
So
So
you being
in that,
pulled.
it breeds resentment in the other children.
Do
So
you
some
think
of the
the age
stuff,
of the
Yeah.
like
children plays a role in that?
you said, the age of the children,
I'm
Yeah, I was
asking, do
gonna
you
bring
think,
that up.
like, I'm just
most
wondering, like, is it because, like, because normally with stuff like that, you try to look for things that, like,
Hmm
are consistent throughout, all of the situations. So is it a situation where, like, let's say, for instance, if you and your sister were born a year apart, there's not
right.
much rivalry there. This is just my assumption. I'm asking. Like, there's not much rivalry, maybe because you guys are so close in age that you guys did all of the same things together, and got the
Yeah.
same things around the same time. But let's say, like the situation you were talking about, we have a sister who's, almost half as old as you or half as young as you. That first kid may be jealous of that second kid because, 10 years later, mom and dad are in a better situation. She's getting more than you were getting at that age, and there's jealousy because of that. Like, what really
hmm
do you see as the commonality that causes, the rivalry between the siblings? Or is there no commonality? Like, just
I
random
think it
swap.
could be that sometimes.
Yeah, I think age does play a factor. I remember I was taking a
Yeah.
child psychology class, and they were talking about how, depending on where you fall in line in your birth, you have certain character traits, and
Hmm.
how the oldest say you like me, I have 4 kids. The oldest is always the one that's closest to maturity, no matter what the age. They're the most, I guess, advanced
Yeah.
mentally as it goes. And then the youngest, they're usually the ones, because they're younger, they're closer to mom, they get all the mom's love because they're the youngest. So they typically tend to be more dependent, where the oldest is independent, and then the two in the middle, they usually just battle it out for for superiority.
And attention.
Yep. Yep.
There was a couple things I noticed. I want to say, me and my sister, we really had this conversation about, and my sister 4 years younger than me. I'm 37, she's 33. And we really first had this conversation about 4 years ago, where she called my phone randomly and was like, "Hey TJ," I'm like, "What?" She like, "You my half brother." I'm like, "What?" She was like, "Yeah, I never really thought about that." And I'm like, "You never really thought about what?" Like, we have siblings, you know what I'm saying? Like, my parents wasn't married, me and my sister got different dads, and we just kind of joked about it. And she was just like, "Yo, why we never, talked about that or brought that up?" I'm like, "What is there to talk about?" She's like, "I don't know. I just thought it would be a big deal. Like, we have siblings." And we just got to talking. It's like, do black people? I don't know. Do they do the half sibling thing where they say that's my half brother, or
No.
like
My grandmother told me
Nope.
flat out
That's
no. My
family.
grandma
That's your
Like,
said,
sibling, period. Like, what
yeah.
half of what?
you know what
Like
I'm
she
You
saying? Like,
said,
came
we
from a
don't do
whole
that.
fucking person.
Yeah, we
Like,
don't do that.
no,
yeah,
that
and
Y'all
shit.
that's
we
what I'm
all
saying.
came from the same black hole.
That shit don't make no sense. When I fill out an application and I gotta put the kids, like the healthcare application, are they siblings, half siblings? I'm like, why do we need to decipher the two? I always put sibling, like half of
Like,
what?
I never really thought about it until we was talking. We laughed and joked about it, and then for about a good month, I had her saved in my phone as my half sister Cassie, just being funny. But
All right, I'm about to put it to y'all like this. If one of my half siblings go out here and commit some type of heinous crime and the FBI come looking for them, they gonna knock on my door when they run that DNA and they in my
Yep.
DNA in the system and they see the genetic sequences that are similar. So
exactly.
half or not half, you still getting a knock on your door by the FBI. What difference do it fucking matter?
But I was just thinking about that from the
Yep.
standpoint of the sibling
Yeah.
rivalry, and then
Yeah, it
also
could.
it's
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's heavy. Like if you
yeah,
have a
like,
one, like when you take the children that are born like outside of an actual union between,
mm,
like when a man had or a man or a female
mm,
has a child outside of a marriage or a relationship, that's automatic resentment and just weird shit in a lot of cases. Not all, but
yeah.
many.
And see, I was just thinking about, and then another thing too, like on top of to go with that, like I'll be joking about it, but it's like for real, like I'm like dadded out. Like with my daughter, like bro, I was
Yeah.
super organic food, no meat, like bro, we was on it. With my son, man, I'd be like, man, you want popcorn for breakfast, man? Go right ahead, dog. Don't whatever.
I saw that post
Like,
he
like,
posted the
bro,
other day.
I really just let him do it. Like, man, Brooklyn used to fall. She my first kid. She would fall. I'd be, oh my God, are you okay? Let me get you.
Right,
Can fall down
right.
the stairs. I'm like, bro, get up. I told you. Stop playing. Like, and it's just like, a lot of times, like, and the same thing with my mom, with me and my sister. Cause like, with me, my mama was on me, bro. I got 1 C in school. My mama was up at that school. Like, I'm missing football games because I got a C. Bro, my sister
Yep.
got like 4 Ds in the 8th grade and like nothing happened. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
That sounds like me, dog.
Could have never
like
been
what?
us, huh, Terrence?
Yeah,
Could
facts.
have
And I'm like,
never
dog,
been us.
I'm
Mhm.
like, is that what happened with my mama? Like, she got mommed out, and it was just 2 of us. And I'm just like, you compile that in with, because kids, they always looking for the reason why something happened. So with most black families, you're seeing a lot of half siblings, and then on top of that, parents get wore out and they see a difference in treatment from one
Yeah.
sibling to another, and they trying to figure out why. Like my Brooklyn be looking at
Yeah,
me like, bro, I could never eat donuts for breakfast. And Cam be smashing them donuts. I don't
exactly.
even care. Like,
Mhm.
bro,
Yep.
bro, I don't
Yep.
care no more, man. You gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Eat a
Yeah.
donut, like, man.
I
So
see
just
that. I
seeing
see
how
that
they
a lot.
preview it.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
more because it's a trepidation when you're a first parent But then once the first child survives and make it to
Right.
adulthood or
You notice
into
they don't die
adolescence
with every
like
bump and
that,
bruise.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
You relax a little bit. And
Hmm.
then you get another one off and you relax a little more until you just realize like it's really not like riding a bike. You do still got to put some effort towards it, and
Right.
some parents become so lax that there is a huge difference in the behavior and personalities of their children, therefore creating a constant conflict between them.
Hmm. Sometimes I feel like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it can come from too, like parents. A lot of parents I hear, don't want to explain themselves to their kids. They don't think they have to or they should in any
Zero
way.
accountability.
Right,
Zero.
right. So like with me, I treat all my kids the same, but based on each child's behavior, one might get, it's different. It
Yeah.
varies on levels. But the thing I say with that is, oh, I hear, oh, well, you didn't do that to so and so. You didn't do that to so and so. Why don't they get this and I don't get that? And it's like, well, look at how many times I have to speak to you and correct your behavior versus them. Have you ever paid
Yeah.
attention to when they did act up or do something similar to what they did or you did, that the reaction was the same? You're only upset because I don't have to react to them as much as I have to react to you. So I feel like that you have to give kids understanding and you have to explain that
Yeah.
to them, and help them learn at that early age what accountability is. You're getting this result because of your actions. Be
Thank you.
accountable, do better, and you'll be all right. So that can cause a lot of that rivalry and that jealousy that you see too. But here's my question: do you guys feel like parents do pick and choose which child they love more, or maybe that can have some sort of effect on it?
No, I don't think so.
I think they pick and choose. They know which child they can manipulate, which children they can manipulate, and they do that.
Mm-hmm. Thought I
And
said
it
they
might,
favorites.
and
Mom's
it,
favorite.
and yeah, and it's translated as, oh, she loves such and such more.
Mm-hmm.
No, she just knows how to play such and such. You're not falling for half the shit she running on your brother or your sister.
Mm-hmm.
See,
So
some of
she
it,
Yeah.
gotta, like she done figured this one out, so she could just constantly, exploit that. But even so, as it pertains to personalities, some people just get along with their parents better than the other children. Some children not really thinking about their mom and dad like that. They really out here trying to do their own thing and get stuff
Yeah.
popping, and they don't even really care. And then you have the ones who buy the house right next door to their mom because they just need to have their parents in their life forever. And
Yeah.
then it's the people
Never
that
do
can be
that.
in the military and go travel the world, and come and check up on their parents and send them stuff and things like that and still be okay. So, but in ways, resentment even set in because we make our life choices, but then we still have the feeling that we should envy the choices of others. So yeah, I did choose to stay here and live next door to mom, but I wish I would have gone abroad like you at least once. So because I didn't do that, I have to make you feel bad and say stuff like, well, you could call mom and dad more. You know,
Hmm.
silly shit.
see,
Yeah,
I
the
think
choices we
parents,
make.
I think parents,
Exactly. Like
I'll go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say we make our own choices, but we always like to transfer because we really don't, we can't see it like how, as I just explained it, we can't really see it that way. We just always have to look at the other person's actions and not, like you said, be accountable for the fact that we make the choices that we make.
Very true. Hmm.
Terrence, you were saying?
Oh no, I was just saying that I do think parents, they have preferences when it comes to children. I think a difficult thing about parenting, just like with any relationship, is being honest. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's hard to be honest about children. Like I was telling, it was a little YouTube short film or whatever that I was talking to my kids about, and it was like a 3-minute film. It was one of the things that's meant to make a point, something like there's something wrong with the Johnsons. I don't know if y'all ever seen that or not, but
Okay.
yeah, it was something along those lines. But what it was a dude broke into a house, with the kids came home from school. Mom was tied up. I mean, other way around. I'm sorry. He had the kids tied up. Mom came home from work, and he pointed the gun to her as soon as she walked in the door, sat her down in the chair, and tied her up. And then he took his mask off and said, "Look, I want you to see my face because this ain't a game." He's like, "I'm about to kill one of your children, and you have to pick which one. And if you don't pick which one, I'm gonna kill both of them." And then it was like
Wow.
she was having flashbacks, like, and outwardly she was saying the right thing. "I can't choose between my kids." You're like, "Well, if you don't choose between them, then you chose both of them." But in her mind, she's having like little flashbacks of good times she had with this kid and good times and bad times and all that. And in her mind, she's trying to make the decision or whatever. But outwardly, "I would never choose between my kids, mom." And the kid was sitting there crying, like, "What, mom? You gonna let me die?" And they're like, "What you want me to do? Have your brother die?" You're like, "No, but they all conflicted. And then finally, as the clock is running down, when there's 3 seconds left, she just out of panic, point to her kid, point to one of them, like, "Yeah, well, you're older, you had to," and they was both like, fifth, sixth grade age. And you're like, "I don't know, he's younger, what, yada yada." So the dude walk over there, cock the gun back, put it to his head like he about to pull the trigger, and then just untie the kids, untie the mom, and walk out the door. You know what I'm saying? And now they're just
Wow.
sitting there looking at each other. And you know what I'm saying? And that was the whole point of it, you know what I'm saying? And they just kind of left it at that. And now they all
Right.
looking confused and the mom is crying and it went off. But it was just like, parents do, they do have, whether it's a connection, whether that child, they had a great relationship. Let's say, for instance, mom was married to dad, dad was in the military, dad died. So mom had to remarry. And when mom remarried, she had a kid with the dude she remarried. And the dude that she remarried don't, live up to what dad used to be. So it's
Right.
now every time she around that kid, she think of her old husband and her old life and what she would have had. And now the new kid, it reminds her of the life that she has now. That's not as good as that old life. That's not as perfect. So she might feel different towards those two kids, or there might be a kid who looks more like you, or who acts more like you, who enjoys the same things you do. Like, that's reality. Now, how do you say that to a child or make that palatable for a parent to understand is the question. But if we being real, like my first, like Brooklyn, like, bro, like that taught me how to be a man. Like, I was 26 when I had her, older than most, but I hadn't really had to deal with that. That let me know that, oh, finances ain't everything. Making sure your money right ain't everything. Like, you gotta care about people. Like, I got a whole human right here who just say, "Daddy, my tummy hurt," and just stare at me in my eyes, and I gotta figure out what the fuck to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
hold on, this is different. So there's a different connection. Now, my son, he's super younger, and I love my son to death, but that same, the way my daughter woke me up and brought me to adulthood, by the time I had Cam, I was 36. I'm good now. So it's a different connection. Doesn't mean I love her more or I would choose, her over him. I doubt it. I highly doubt it, but it is a different feeling. When you look at them, it's
Yeah.
a different connection. It takes you back to a different place. The same way you can hear a certain song. "Oh, I remember that when I was in Miami in '04. Oh, shit." It brings
Yeah.
you to a different place. So there may be different. Now, how that determines how you treat the children is a different point or a different question or a different perspective of how you move. But you got to start with that honesty. And if there is a difference, be honest about it and honestly work on it and honestly hold yourself accountable and move certain ways and switch the way you're moving. But it gotta start with honesty. Otherwise, you're gonna put yourself down this spiral, bro. My kids 13, 11, and 2, and I still gotta hide presence and figure out how to say from Santa. Because once I started on down that road, ain't no turning back. like they
Right.
still, expecting Santa and cookies and like y'all 13, but y'all still all right, man. Now I'm stuck. Like, what do I do? Just go ahead. Look, I've been lying to y'all your whole life. Ain't no Santa. It's me. We got you. So give me a little list so I can get the shit. Like, what do I do? Like, once you start down that road, like, it's tough to, turn it around. So how you handle that is going to be very critical and maybe possibly those sibling rivalries because the kids don't know how to respond to what's going on when they see a certain treatment and they think a kid is getting treated better than them, but they can't speak out about it because they don't know what it is. Like all that junk just plays hand in hand with each other.
And
My
then
opinion.
true story. Then you also have the situations where there's the eldest sibling that has to play co-parent to the younger siblings, and that doesn't really allow for the siblings to have a sibling relationship because you've placed one of the siblings in a role of authority.
Facts. Like I got a real story for that. I don't want to be the long-winded one. So I'm
Oh, I
gonna
Now,
could
go ahead.
definitely vouch for that from my oldest brother. He definitely raised us. So
Yeah.
you definitely right on that.
my cousin, I'm not gonna use his name. I'll be getting so caught up in thinking we just have a normal conversation, forgetting we
Yeah,
on the
nah,
time. But my cousin, his dad, I grew up with his dad pretty much raised me. He's like maybe 50 now. And he was the oldest of four kids. His mom was married. She had, they had the four kids back to back, you know, and then they ended up getting a divorce. And she worked her ass off, like, worked as a social worker, or you did real estate,
yeah,
everything you could think of. So the oldest pretty much, from a super young age, at 13, he was taking us all to Howardale, making cooking lunch, like all this stuff that you thought 13-year-olds was supposed to do. But then as you got older, you realize, no, that's not normal. He
nah,
did all that.
right, yeah, nah.
In the summertime, like from I would go over there every, they stayed over on the east side on Moreland. So every summer I would go over there and she would go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, get home at 6. And we would be 13, 12, 11, 10. And then I was like 7. And we would be over there all day, like with a 13-year-old watching this. But then,
You're right.
like now, he never really got his childhood. So
No,
now he's almost 50, can't keep a job, always playing the game. He lives with
yeah,
his daughters, who are my age, and younger. He lives with them, don't have his own spot. He's in the games, into collecting little pop sockets and toys and all this type of stuff. But you can clearly
wow,
see that he's
Yeah.
like
yeah.
into, his childhood that he didn't get to have,
Yep.
you know.
Nas made that song. You and your second
Michael Jackson,
childhood.
Benjamin Button,
Hmm.
Yeah, like it's crazy when you see that.
Agent in Reverse.
And you know what? And that happens a lot, especially in single family households where, unfortunately, that usually has to be the way it is, where the
Yeah.
parent is working. So the older sibling, they have to step up and be able to help out and assist. So I see that with my
Hmm.
own daughter, where, it's
That
just
was
me
my
and I'm
way.
trying to work from home, cook dinner. Well, you know what? You can go make lunch right now. I'm working right now. Can you go make them a sandwich? Can you go do this?
Hmm.
Can you go do that? But I think the biggest thing though is just, even though you give your child those I don't even want to say privileges, but even though you give them that power, you still have to let them know and help them understand you're a child. Be a child. When I need your help, give me your help. Outside of that, don't think you have to do anything. Be a child. Have fun. Go play. Go make friends. And when I need you, I'll let you know. If I don't need you, don't. No, I don't need your help. Go find something to do. I'm good. I
Like,
got
no,
this. Right,
real
right.
shit. I was like 12 when my mother had one of my sisters, and she was just pretty much always gone. So by the time I'm like 13, my little sister goes with me everywhere. So we got to the
Mm,
point where some of my friends' parents
was
stopped
there.
letting me hang out with them because they thought
Mm.
that I had a baby.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and my friends were like, "No, she was never pregnant. She doesn't have a baby. That's her little sister." And they was just like, "No, the baby looks just like her. That's her baby. She always got that baby." Like, no, y'all lying. Yeah, it was like
Mm.
the whole thing, and I used to just be like, "Man, this shit
That's
whack."
crazy. Yeah, that's crazy right there.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's
Mm.
pretty much why the two of us are closer. Will appear to be closer to other people. We appear to be closer to each other than like me versus the rest of my siblings. But that's
Right.
not true. That's what it looks like because I was her sister, but I also was her mom.
Mm.
Right, right. Right. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. I think it's a lot. There's a lot that can
Yeah, so it's people like us
really tie
really out here
into it.
living
But
that life.
how you, what do you do about it though? Like, is there anything you can do about it? Shit.
Oh, you out here, your only thing when you in situations like that every day, you wake up to survive.
Yeah, yeah. I was watching some movie on, I think it was Netflix, maybe Prime Video. I'm not sure, but um, that was one of the things that was in the video. Is not the siblings taking care of each other, but it takes me to another thought of how a lot of the times these children are the ones taking care of their siblings and their parent, because their
Yep,
parent is a drug addict or alcoholic or whatever the case may be, and that,
arrested
yeah,
development.
that's fucked up. Yeah, yeah, shit like that. Yep, it can go both ways, and that's really sad.
Yeah, and that's just across the board in American culture. Cause think about the next, what is that Showtime show? Uh, with the
Shameless.
kid. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't never seen that.
Yeah. Oh, that's my
Megan
shit. But that,
Show.
yeah.
What, Terrence? You need to watch Shameless
Showtime, you
immediately.
got to get on it. It's 11 season,
It's
the
on
last
Netflix.
season.
It's on
Yep.
Netflix.
Netflix,
Yeah,
Hulu.
start from the beginning. You got time. You got years to
I
catch up.
definitely, man, I'm off work right now, so I got definitely got
Cause
time.
at first I
Yeah,
don't
that
really
shit's
watch
good.
TV like that, but sometimes I would just that would be
Hmm.
like one of my bonding sister time. I would go and watch television. That's something what I do with my sisters. I don't typically watch TV by myself, and we would
Hmm.
watch Shameless. And
Oh,
it
that's
got
Yeah,
me
that
good.
shit
watching.
good.
I would have to catch up on episodes by myself just to be current. But
Hmm. I like
yeah,
Shameless. I mean, so I like watching white peopling. I especially love TV when it's white people struggling and drama and shit. But but that show, my kids started watching that show, and I'm like, you can't watch that. But it's so like, what do you do
yeah,
now? They done already started sneaking and watching it. So I'm
that shit
using it.
brilliant though.
Yeah, yep, and I'm using it as a lesson in with her now because there's nothing to do, but using it
Right.
as a lesson of group economics, how a household, even though that shit they completely dysfunctional, but everybody puts in the
That
pot.
shit was grand. Yeah,
Everybody helps everybody, and if more people live like that, the family stayed together
Yeah.
instead of
there you go.
kicking your kid out as soon as they turn 18. Maybe we could all grow and come up and do more as a family.
Like,
So that's
it's
how I'm
funny.
using that one. But that's a dope show.
Yeah, it's funny that you're hitting on all the points that I was thinking of when I was telling you about slave parenting.
Hmm.
'Cause that's pretty
That's
much what
it
I
right
was saying is that, slave is you more so parented your kid back then out of fear. So
Hmm.
you
there.
taught to be respectful. You taught to be obedient. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
everything was about survival. Everything was about obedience and respect because that's how they had to move out in the real
Right.
world.
Right.
And moving away from that, you look a white person in the eye, you whistle at the wrong person, you Emmett Till, or something like that. So you had to
Right.
teach them
Mhm.
that, and that's where I think a lot of the whoopings came from and all that, because you had to, beat them into obedience down there. And now we're in an age where, we're switching. I think we should be switching more to what you were saying,
Right.
information. Where parents, yes, teach your children how, every time they have a response that isn't talking back. They're not
Hmm.
sassing you. You need to
Right.
teach them, understand, and help them, be able to express themselves to adults.
Yep.
You know,
And be able to express themselves effectively and
yeah,
clearly.
yeah, like, what I'm saying,
Hmm.
that type of stuff, like, moving towards that, because a lot of that, it's funny, all this ties in together. A lot of that stuff be the issue. Children don't know how to express themselves to their parents when they're feeling a certain type of way, or they're
Hmm.
afraid to express themselves to their parents.
Out
So
of
they
fear
just
of,
sit
yeah.
back, and the anger they have towards their parents, because they don't understand something, they take it out on the closest person they can take it out on, little bro,
Mhm.
big
Yep.
bro, little sis, big sis, and it really just be
Yeah.
misplaced anger because you can't say nothing to mama because she gonna
Yep.
snap.
And that
Like,
goes back to talking to your kids and helping them. Should we the ones who are supposed to be teaching them critical thinking skills and, like
Yeah.
you said, how to communicate to others. So we have to be the ones to let them be open, let them come to you, and no matter how much you hate what they're saying, listen to them and then
That's true.
teach them, respond appropriately. But I had this
Um,
thought
um,
earlier. We brought up the slave parent and that what you just said. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from, but I had this thought earlier. Like CPS
mm,
is for poor people. It's only for poor people. It's to keep
right,
poor
Yep.
people scared and weak. That's all
right.
it
Yep.
is. So I'll never hear CPS getting involved in rich families. Oh, we called CPS all these times and they never responded appropriately and now the kid's dead type shit. But they stay in the
Right.
hood. Why you think that is?
Because you got to look at the criterion which is set forth the standard of living for children set forth by the government. And
Hmm.
they have largely to do with finances, and that's why you're right. CPS is for, because think of all the things that you are required to have according to CPS. So if you think about it, how a lot of us came up, we all would have
Hmm.
been CPA's
Yep,
cases if
we all would have
everybody
been
supposed to
gone.
have their own room and own bed and own this and own that.
Fridge fully stocked,
That's dead
damn
in the
near
water when
stocked.
14 people in the crib. That's dead. You
Yep.
got 9 kids. That's over. But you the one that they'll probably most likely keep trying to call the people on because they already know what the setup is.
Hmm.
So you get into it with the wrong person and they just that petty. Or
Yeah,
they'll try
that's
to
why
get a
I'm,
neglect case put on
man.
real fast because I just seen it happen to a parent at
Yeah.
one of our parents, and I'm like, that's weak because this woman, her children get stellar grades, they have perfect attendance, she's one
Mhm.
person with damn near nine, like 8 or 9 children, and she still make it happen, and y'all did what?
Yep, I see that a lot
She
with the school.
separated from her children, but her children were the functioning ones in the school, and now they
Hmm.
acting like because you just disrupted their whole livelihood. How dare you?
Yeah.
People don't care about children. They all
Not at
fake.
all. That's what I say about these schools, especially the public school system. They don't give a fuck. They just want your kid to come to school so they can get that fucking money.
No, what I'm saying is kind of like the opposite. Us at the
Right,
school
right.
actually do give a fuck. It's the people out in the street don't care nothing
Ah,
about the kids because they beefing with their parents and they fucking the children
oh,
life.
right. See, I don't see that, but I don't fuck with people like that. I keep it moving, but I see it a lot with the schools. Especially my son,
Yeah, it's a setup if
my
you not.
7 year
Yeah,
old.
you not in.
He's the one who started the Black Pride Parade in our house. Like we was living in Mesquite, Texas. It's a white suburb, and he the one outside throwing up his fist talking about black power. Can you keep the black man down? No. Can you keep the white man down? Yes. They didn't like that shit.
Wow.
He would go to school. He's the one, like, I talked to them about our history, our culture, let them know, you know, what the real is. But he's very talkative. He's very outspoken,
Mm,
and he gets back with the teachers. I let him do that. I let all my kids speak their minds. I encourage them to do it, but I'd still let them know you better be respectful and remember who the fuck you talking to. When, if they
That's
try to
how my
cross
mother
that
was.
line,
She
but I
let
let
us.
them speak their mind.
Yeah,
And
she let us
they
have
do
opinions.
that. They do that at school when they're not around me. And I noticed with him, when we were out there, the school started calling CPS for like the dumbest shit. Like it got to a point where the CPS worker had to go to the school and tell them to stop calling CPS on me. Ain't nothing wrong with these people. But I noticed he was coming home for like a month straight, and he would go to school and then come home. My teacher told me to look into Thomas Jefferson. My teacher told me to look into Abraham Lincoln. They did something for black people. They did something for the slaves. And then I was, and then we okay, let's look into it. Let's research it.
Get you in the real about those type of
Right,
people.
right. When he went to school the
Yep.
next day, He had to have said something to the teacher. Next day went to school, come home, it's a motherfucking CPS worker knocking at my door. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? Oh, well, they called and said your son got holes in his shoes and holes in his pants. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, sir? There's a pile of shoes right there. What? Like every day they was calling every day for the same shit
That's
every
crazy.
fucking
What are they
day.
telling? What is it against the law to have holes in your pants? Like, what are you talking about?
Right. I mean, I
That's
don't know.
the
That shit's
child.
crazy.
Like what are you talking
Children.
about?
I'm a teacher. You can send them in there crispy as I don't know what. By the end of the day,
That shit fucked
they're
up.
gonna come home looking like a cartoon character, both knees ripped
Shit.
out, and you just
Yeah.
bought them pants.
Just
You
bought
just bought the
man,
pants.
you don't know how many pair of pants we go through. It's a 7-year-old. What the fuck do you think they
Children do not
play?
give a damn. They don't care nothing about them clothes, honey. And y'all know
Yeah,
that
that
as
shit was
parents. That's why you're
crazy.
not. That's why some of y'all have sense enough not to really waste
Hmm.
all your money and then get mad when the clothes get tore up. You should have knew that.
Right.
It's
Yep.
all about it's YOLO when you like 7
Hmm.
to
Hey,
Right.
16.
does your children go to
Right.
a majority white school?
Right. Yep. And that's what I was gonna get to
Okay.
before
Yeah,
we
I
started
figured
side
that.
talking. But that's the problem. 90% of their school is white. 90%. And then you got a black kid that ain't taking your shit and that's going to stand up for himself and tell you what he know. Like that's a problem for them. They don't like that. Ain't he a black boy at that? They don't like that
That's
shit.
tough.
They don't like
No,
that shit at all.
that's crazy. This nigga know too much. Let's call CPA.
Hmm.
Yep.
Right, right.
Yep.
I thought
How?
that
How
shit
was
was
that a case?
crazy. Right.
Yeah, like what
The
are you doing?
CPS worker had to go to the school and tell them to stop calling CPS. Like the
That's
CPS,
crazy.
ain't nothing wrong. I've been to the house. Stop fucking calling me. Like,
Yeah.
damn.
Maybe you might want to stop lying about what Thomas Jefferson
Hmm.
did, bro.
Right. Yep.
Mm.
Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Oh, did he really? Oh, let's talk about this then. Let's go. Why not?
Freed. Freedom. I freed you.
Man.
That shit
If that's
crazy.
the case, then why is there an exception clause in the Constitution? But I digress. Slavery
Slavery
never
is outlawed
ended. It's
Still
still,
unless
thank you.
exists.
There you go, friend. There you go. Hit them with it. Hit them with it,
and,
Terrence.
unless like I finally watched that the 13th and I was so mad, like bro, like you know what I
Didn't
mean?
that shit get under your skin?
It's just
Ooh, wee.
amazing. Like after that, I couldn't watch the Central Park Five or none of that. Like bro, like
Me
slavery
neither.
is
I couldn't
outlawed.
even watch none of that shit. Nope.
Yeah, I get too upset. Like I had the kids
Yeah,
watching it, and I was just like,
gotta
I'm like,
watch it to make you upset. That's why
Right.
I like to watch it. It
Yeah.
makes me upset because I'm
Yep.
gonna tell y'all something.
Get too comfortable and you
I work
forget.
around a lot of white people in those plants,
mm,
and I'm not disrespectful with them, but yeah, when I do communicate with them, I definitely do make sure I look them in the eye. And
yeah,
like,
Absolutely.
and there are certain shirts, like I had wore a shirt at my job at one point that said "Dope Black Father," and like my supervisor kind of hinted at it and shit. Talking about, so well, I'm surprised that HR ain't make you turn it inside out.
so
So I had
dope
Uh-huh.
black father.
well, shit. I'm like, even
Uh-huh.
if they did, I'm not doing it anyway. Like,
Right.
period.
Hey,
Right up,
this is the
right.
only
So
time
yeah,
I
that'd
can.
make you angry. You say what?
This is the only time I feel comfortable using somebody's name for real. It's just funny when you said that. When you said I'll be surprised HR ain't make you turn this shirt inside out. Shoot, you know TC, don't you?
Yep.
Man, me and TC used to work together. And it was funny because he had a situation like that in the plant. He ain't wear his work shirt. And, at this time
Okay.
I'm 21. And they came with that. And it was the plant manager was like, I should go to HR and have him make you change your shirt. And I'm 21, so that means TC was like 24, 25 or something. And he was like,
We
look,
ain't
man,
that much older than you. He was
yeah,
only
yeah.
23.
No, y'all was seniors when I was freshman. Weren't y'all?
Okay, then we was about
Yeah.
24. You right.
Yeah. But it was just funny because that was the first time I heard it. He was like, look, man, and our plant manager, he was like, in his 40s or whatever. He was like, I don't know what you thought, but ain't nobody about to make me do nothing. Like, who are you talking to? Like, make me?
For
Like,
real,
like
man.
Right.
what you gonna do? He was looking at him dead, like, what you gonna do? Snatch my shirt off me and put another one on me? And he was like, no. I said, okay, well, don't come to me telling me what you gonna make me do.
Right.
Exactly.
And it was,
Because
and I
if you
was
don't do
working
it, what
right.
you gonna do? Write me up and tell me to go to work?
And it was
Exactly.
funny because, for me, I got hired in that plant the day before my 21st birthday. So that was my first real job. You know what I'm saying? And And it was funny, a conversation that me and him had, this before he started doing the heating and cooling stuff. And he was just like, so like these people think because they cutting you a check, like they can just talk to you any kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
you see these grown 30, 40-year-old men walking around with their head down and all this and all that. Like we
Yes,
work in the
massa. No
plant.
massa.
And he
Yeah.
was like, think
The
think
nigga
about
like
this,
that at
bro.
work. Yeah.
Plant
He was like,
plantation.
yeah, he was like, think about this, bro. And the other dude, I ain't gonna say his name, but another dude, he pointed him out. He like, man, this man almost 40 years old working in the plant and got an axe to go to use the bathroom. And when he asked the plant, somebody covered his spot so he could use the bathroom, the little line supervisor, they call him team lead, was like, what you got to do, number one and number two. And he was like, bro, how I'm supposed to do that? This man, because they need,
Wow.
we work on a plant, you have to use the bathroom, am I just gonna be on your station for 5 minutes? I'm gonna be here for 20 minutes because I got yada yada yada. And he was like, yeah, but just imagine, look, how you 40 years old, this is a team lead, 22, and you got to ask him to use the bathroom, but he's talking to you like a little kid, what you got to do,
Right.
number one and number two. You're like, bro, I'll be goddamn, I let these motherfuckers talk to me like that. I don't ask you to go to the
Right.
bathroom. You're like, bro, I say I got to go to the bathroom, then don't nobody get over here in 2 minutes. I pull the cord to stop my station. I'm walking off. Like, bro, I'm not asking nobody, but just when he
Right.
said that just brought that whole thing up. He was like, I should tell man, I'm surprised they ain't made you. Like, bro, a lot of people do be trying to get off on us like that. They just talk to us
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah, they do.
Because it's a
Yeah, they do.
job. Like, bro, like, who you mean make me? Like, who are you talking to? Like, I think a lot, like, that's where a lot of this stuff started at, for real.
Yeah.
The perception of how people think they can talk to you and what they think these jobs and stuff mean. Like,
Yeah.
probably
And
make
that
me
was
take your
me on Saturday. I had to go to the ER. And shit, I can't get this tooth pulled. They told me I gotta see an oral surgeon. That shit been bad. But I went to the ER and they sit me down next to the nurses station. There's doctors over there, and the dude did my triage, talking to the doctor. And I went to this hospital in downtown Dallas where they're the only place with the oral surgeon on staff. That's the only reason I went there. But majority of the population in that hospital, they are homeless. They go there to make up shit just so they can have a place to stay that's warm for a few hours or sit in the lobby for a few hours. And the guy sitting there explaining it to him while I'm there, and the doctor just start talking shit. And another doctor walk up and then start talking shit again. And I'm like, do y'all not realize I'm sitting right here? What the fuck you think you doing? Who the fuck you think you talking to or talking about? You don't
Exactly.
even got the whole story. And what? I got the fuck up and I made a complaint and then I left. Like, you're not about to treat me in any way. Not at all. This how you think about
Thank
the people
you.
you supposed to help? Fuck that
Yep.
shit. Got the fuck out of there. I went to a private surgeon. Fuck that shit. I wasn't paid, but shit, I waited that day. Fuck that.
it's surprising how people really don't know how to communicate with each other.
Yeah, you don't want that energy on you anyway. It is very surprising.
Look, since I've been like
When
I've been
it's
laid off,
when it's just simple.
like I've been laid off work since the beginning of November, right? So I've been mostly chilling. So just to buy some time, I've been working with Dre Jeter doing with his moving company, right?
Okay.
And we at this house, we doing this moving job. It's like my second time working. And it's me and he got this little young dude who's like 24 years old. He like the supervisor, quote unquote. He organized the job, what we doing, call the customer, all that. So we get
Yeah.
to the customer's house, and it's a bunch of stuff they want us to do that's just like not on the order. So we get to the
Right.
house, and he asks the wife, like, and it's a young black couple, they're in their late 20s, early 30s. And he asked the wife, like, yo, what you want us to do with this? She was like, hold on, I'm like, let me ask my husband. And she goes downstairs, and we hear them talking. And the husband was like, well, you know what I'm saying? You deal with them. Like, you the one who called them. You the one who paying them. You deal with them. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't asked you to call them. Like, because he got a trailer and he over there moving stuff too. So, we hear that. We like, dang, okay, whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? We get over there trying to move stuff. They ain't got stuff ready. The refrigerator won't fit out the door. All type of stuff. So my
Wow.
man is like, you know what I'm saying? He walked, like, she's in one bedroom. We in another room packing stuff up. And my man says, see, man, that's why I like doing these type of jobs. You know what I'm saying? They ain't, but saying this shit loud as hell. You know what I'm saying? And the wife can like hear him. So finally, after about an hour of stuff not going the way it's supposed to go, he step outside to call Dre. And he like, Dre, you know what I'm saying? Like this job probably gonna take longer than what they paid for because this, that, and the third. And you know what I'm saying? And the wife got an attitude. I don't know what's up with her. The dog, he keep leaving. And he like just, it's like you're sitting in your living room on the couch and he's standing right outside your front door. And then finally she was like, bro, who are you talking to? You know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm talking to my boss. You're like, who is dog? Like, what are you talking about? Like, the conversation happened is like very disrespectful. And he looking confused. And he like, what you talking about? Are you talking about dog keep leaving? And and my man don't get what's going on. And he say, man, so after they going back and forth, you know, the husband pull up, the husband asks what's going on, you know, so they talking or whatever. And he walk over to me, you know, because he give her the phone so she can talk to Dre. Dre calming it down. And he like, bro, she over here ear hustling, don't even know what's going on. And I'm thinking like, how is she ear hustling at her own house?
Right.
Like, we got help. Like, dude really understand that he's wrong. Like, he don't even understand that it's wrong to keep calling her husband dog.
Dog,
Like,
right. He ain't no dog.
Dog over here, like, what, you know what I'm saying? Dog keep leaving, right? And dude was like, yeah, I keep leaving. I keep going to move stuff to the other house and come back and get more stuff. He was like, yeah, that's all I said. And you're like, no, that's not what you said. You said dog keep, like, you talking about us like I'm paying y'all, you know, upwards of $1,000 for this move, and you sitting here talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? And he don't understand that he in the wrong. Like, I'm just sitting there like, bro, and, you know what I'm saying? And Dre asked me what happened the next day, and I'm telling him, like, dude, just, you know, he's like, bro, he one of my best workers. Like, I don't never have a problem with him. And I'm like, do you ever have him working lead? Like, because I'm the only new dude, so I don't know what to do. He's like, you know what, I don't. You know what I'm saying? And this is the problem when it's on his shoulders now, and he got to communicate, and stuff ain't going right, and they ask us to move addresses, and this, but it's just like he don't understand. Like, his communication is so poor. Not even that it's poor, just that he don't even understand that it's poor. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting there talking, like, not hiding the conversation at all, talking loud as hell, like it's just cool. Like, and that just, and it's funny that you say that, because them doctors doing, and I'm thinking like, okay, this some hood shit, but no, doctors educate, they do the same thing. Like,
do the
people
same
don't
thing.
understand how
and
to
I called that doctor out, and he was like, he froze. Like, oh shit, she heard me. He refused to turn around and look at me. The security guards had to go. Okay, ma'am. I was going. You ain't gonna turn around.
I wonder.
I ain't gonna lie.
I was in pain and I was pissed off. I was pissed off.
I wonder if he was more surprised that you heard him, or surprised that maybe he
that
thought
I said something
that he thought
could get away with it.
Know. Yeah, like you think he'd be talking down on somebody, like.
But and that's what I said, because again, 90% of that hospital, homeless population. Like, you got the wrong one today. I ain't about to just sit here and take it. I don't need a bed to sleep in. I didn't have to drive 35 fucking minutes to get here. What the fuck you talking about?
And my thing is this: if you're getting paid either way, what fucking difference does it make?
Right.
You don't live here.
Right.
This ain't your house. Ain't nobody sullying up your goddamn sheets and fucking up your carpet.
And then my thing is, when I thought I wanted to be a nurse, I found out that wasn't gonna work out. But shit, we take morality training. They give you sensitivity training, ethics, all that shit. Where the fuck was that? Like, where is it?
We get that as teachers as well. As teachers, we get all of that training as well, and it needs to be applied. And if it's not, then you probably not gonna be asked back next year, because they don't play like that.
Yeah,
you got to start cleaning up. Yeah, people got to start. These organizations and corporations need to start cleaning up their own backyard if they don't want everybody out here to do it like Black Twitter. Because Black Twitter will clean that shit up real good.
Real fucking quick, too.
People just don't get it. Like, people just, like, bro, even at the train job, like, people be sitting around complaining about dealing with passengers. Like, bro, you do know you work on the train, right? Like, you be complaining. Like, our job is 90%, our job title is passenger conductor. Like, what are you tripping about? You mad you got to help with a bag? Like, bro, we literally sit on our ass 14 hours a day.
Maybe work
for 3 hours. But people, I think it's like, and this is what me and my girl, you know, kind of argue about sometimes when I talk to my kids about. When you look at a job as more than a means to an end, and you finally get it, and you realize the real, like, it fuck you up. Like, people, I want to do this when I grow up, and that's gonna make me happy. Like, bro, like no, it's not. Like, then, like, I was telling my girl, I don't want to be a teacher, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm like, I'm having a conversation with her, and I'm like, you really don't want to be a teacher. What you want to do is you want to teach people. And she's like, no, I want to be a teacher. I want to be like Miss Kelly and this and that. I'm like, well, yes, you might want to be like Miss Kelly, but you don't want to have to be in a classroom with 30 children, have to use the bathroom, and can't leave out because you ain't got nobody to cover your classroom.
Right.
You don't
Thank
want to
you.
know that these kids need to be taught something that's important to them, but you can't teach it because it's not part of the curriculum. So you got to teach
Thank
this
you.
bullshit. You don't want
Right.
to
Thank
do that. You know, you don't want to have a situation where somebody in your family died and you can't go to the funeral because you don't have no more bereavement days. So like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, you want to teach, and I'm explaining to her that, and my girl's kind of looking at me like I'm, stealing the spark from her daughter. But what I'm trying to teach them is like to be honest, because you're gonna walk in that classroom wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, thinking you about to change the world, and then find out you ain't about to do nothing but whatever that curriculum allows. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you.
so,
Yep.
understand that. And but that's what happened with these people, these doctors. They get these jobs. I'm gonna be a doctor. I'll take my Hippocratic oath. I'm gonna change the
Mm-hmm.
world. I'm gonna do it. And you get the job and realize it's just all bullshit.
The reality.
You
Yep.
Yeah.
become a teacher and
That's
realize
what
it's
happened to
bullshit.
me.
And
That's
it's
what
like,
happened to
Yeah, but
me.
then you think about it. Then you got the ones who actually do end up having like for real compassion for their patients to, the degree of Jack Kevorkian, another Michigan native, Pontiac to be in particular, aka Dr. Death, and creating his whole euthanasia system. And then they lock him up and then steal his shit to start killing people that's locked up.
like yeah, man, it's tough,
Ain't
man.
that a bitch?
It's hard to really care about your job and do your job and love your job and not bring it home and have it affect you at home. Like,
Right.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Right. Yep.
And that becomes a trade-off. Like, when you realize, like when I worked at the village, like, bro, it's so many people who work at, the juvenile detention facility. And like,
Mm-hmm.
bro, we not
Mm-hmm.
even, we pretty much counselors. And you see
Right.
people who I know from high school who get stuck in lockers out here trying to be tough with these 13 and 14-year-olds. Like, bro, chill out.
That shit weird, ain't it?
Right.
It's
Yep.
so whack. And it's like, bro, like, do you, first of all, these dudes will,
Mm.
dudes will kill you. Like, chill out.
Thank
But
He
you.
it's,
Them
hung,
kids ain't
but
in there. Thank you.
yeah.
These kids
Yeah.
ain't in here for no reason. You better
bro,
check they fucking rap sheet.
bro,
Exactly.
it's so many kids who done ran up on me like I am 100%. I didn't do it because of that, but I'm 100%
Yeah.
happy I was the cool counselor because it's been 20, 30, not 20, let me not exaggerate, 5 or 6 times. I ain't worked there since 2014 when I'd be in a store at the corner store somewhere in the yard and there'd be some little
Notice
dude
you.
standing behind me mugging me. And I'm like, what up, man? He's like, you don't even remember me, do you, Mr. Johnson? I'm like, what?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Dude, grown as hell, beard and
Right.
everything. Talk about Mr. Johnson. I'm like, yeah, you was my
Mm-hmm.
staff at B building. Remember when you gave us them cookies? Like, you know
Oh,
what I'm
you
saying?
remember the
Ah,
cookies?
yeah.
I was the
Yeah.
cool staff, you know what I'm saying? I was always cool with them because most of them was from the yak. A lot of them was
That's
like people who we know.
compassion.
Yeah, people we
Mm-hmm.
know. Like, there's been so many people who me and you went to school with who I had their
Yeah.
children. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Right.
know your pops. You know what I'm saying? I'd be in there,
Mm-hmm.
betting kids. All right, look, y'all can stay up late tonight and finish the game if you can freestyle better than me. Man, your old ass can't
Right.
rap, good. Like, all right, do it, and
Right.
just like,
Right.
but it's some of these people who not from, bro. If some of these kids caught them out here now, like these kids now, they 24, 25, who was, 13 to 14 back then, like, bro, they put your head through a wall.
They
Like,
remember that shit clearly. They
yeah,
always remember.
it's a,
Yeah, and I feel you. People, we always have these grand ideas, but we don't know what we really getting ourselves into. Because that same thing, I was working in a nursing home as a med
mhm,
tech, passing all the medications, giving injections,
mhm,
like the first responder, while I was
mhm,
in nursing school. And
mhm,
it wasn't a nursing, it was like an assisted living facility. But
mhm.
that's when I learned I can't be in healthcare. I care too much. Like
Yeah.
I
Uh,
have too big of a heart and I care too much. And this is the type of field where you can't wear your heart on your sleeve. You gotta be able to go home and say fuck the day, but that's not me. I'm going home and I'm worried about patient A
yeah,
because I know they family ain't shit and
mhm.
ain't doing right, and what can I do and ain't
Yeah.
shit I can do. So yeah, we really got to think about all angles before we decide we want to get ourselves into something.
But it's just
That's
about
why I
Yeah.
ain't
going
no
into it with
social worker.
Mhm.
we got to go into it with the right mentality. And
Right. Right.
understand that this is a means to an end. Like,
Mhm.
that you're going here so you can do this in your free
Mhm.
time, so you can
Right.
buy this, so you can live this lifestyle. Understand why
Right.
you're doing it. Like, you can care about
Yep.
these kids. Start a mentoring program. Go to the
Mhm.
YMCA. coach a
Get
basketball.
involved somehow.
Like there's ways to do stuff, but we put too much emphasis on career and
Hmm.
then get into
Yeah.
that boy and realize it ain't what you thought it was and be
And now you
heartbroken.
unhappy. And
Right? That's the
starting all over again.
facts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trying to find something to make you happy because you've been taught your whole life that you're gonna get so much you're gonna do this for the next 20, 30 years. So you might as well do something you love. No, for the next 20, 30 years, I'm gonna use that money and do stuff I love.
Right,
Like what
right.
the fuck is that? Like, I'm gonna do
Yep.
Jamaica, I'm gonna do
Yep.
Italy, I'm gonna do France,
There
I'm
you
gonna do
go.
Mardi Gras, I'm gonna do, Caravana. Yeah, I'm gonna do a whole bunch of stuff I love.
Yeah. And
Shout
you
out
know
to
what?
y'all.
I think when people, because there are studies that show that when you have a certain love for your field of work, or you're just able to find, I can't even think of the word. It'll come to me later. But when you're able abundance, when you're able to find some sort of abundance in the work you do, you
Yeah,
do you're more fulfilled in your work life and your home life. And I think that's why more people need to kind of get in touch with themselves and know what their strengths are and really consider their weaknesses, and play off those strengths, play off those natural talents, and make that your job, because at that point it's not work. It's fun. You're happy to do it. You're not mad you got to go in this office all day long because
yeah,
you just working to be able to maintain a lifestyle, versus you happy as hell to go to this job every day because you love what you're doing and you were doing it before you even got the job, and it gives you the lifestyle you want. So
it's about control. Like that's why for me, one of my favorite albums of all time, and it's gonna sound weird coming from me, being I'm a 300-pound black dude, but SZA's Control album,
mm,
what
yeah.
that whole album is
That shit
about
was
from the
dope.
very beginning, supermodel, all that. It's about
Mhm.
how people act when they don't have control,
Mhm.
just to try to get that control. You know what I'm saying? Like on
Right.
the intro song, I can be your supermodel, but if you believe in me, like you know what I'm saying. But what if I don't? You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? You don't have that control, and that's what it is with jobs. Like people will stay at a low paying job if they have a little. I can leave when I
Low
want. I can
control.
cut when I
Yeah.
want. When I have control, when
Hmm.
you got NBA players right now who walking away from multi-million-dollar deals or taking. You got players who could be making 12 million a year, but they'll take 2 million a year to go play with LeBron because
Mhm.
it ain't about the money. It ain't about the job. It's about the
Right.
control. Like I can control my own destiny here. If
Mhm.
I can't control my own destiny, I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
People don't want to be traded. They want to be free agents. And
Yeah.
no matter
That's
what
true.
the job is, you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
They want to have the ability to determine where they go. And that's the job. When you're a teacher, you ain't gonna love it because you don't have the ability. When you're an NBA player, they make it how y'all got all this money and still not happy and missing jobs and losing money to smoke weed because it's about control. I want to be in control of my like I don't know if y'all just seen, but even the NBA just now, they just passed a new rule. They're no longer testing for marijuana no more.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Yeah.
Y'all
Like
seen
so
that for real?
like it's dope. Like it's always gonna be about control. To take it back
Mhm.
to the original conversation, the sibling rivalry. It's about the control. You have a rivalry going on with your sibling because it's something that you can't control. A
Yeah.
situation that you can't control, a feeling that you have no control over because you don't know what it is. You give a person control, right now, I pay you $12 an hour, can't pay you much, but you can eat when you want, you can leave when you want, you got all the weekends you need, like whatever. Or I'm gonna give you
Mhm.
$20 an hour, but you got to be at the office 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You got to get permission to go to the bathroom, permission to get up. Lunch is 30 minutes, 2 15-minute breaks. Like, I'll take
Yeah.
that. Yeah, give me the one with the control when I can just pick and choose where I want to go. Like, people don't understand that. That's part of this new age us. That
Yep.
back in the day, people wanted security.
It's
They wanted
always
just to
been
be
about
safe.
control.
But see,
Always.
at a point, it wasn't about control. It was about security. Like everybody, like if
Hmm.
you notice, look at our generation. Look how many entrepreneurs and people who started up their own stuff, they lashes and they
Yeah.
nails and the moving companies and the lawn care company. Because people understand that I want the freedom to do it. I want to be a boss. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to decide what I do, what I don't do. Back in the day, people just was happy with a 9 to 5. I ain't doing that. I ain't risking that. I want to be sure I got a check coming in. Like our parents didn't
Right.
teach us that.
Mm-hmm.
Our parents taught us
Right.
college
Right.
because they wanted to be sure we had some. Or they always tell us, well, still, you need something to fall back on.
Yeah.
Like that ain't
Mm-hmm.
control, that's security. We
Yeah.
cared about
Yep.
security. We were so fresh into having stuff and so new having stuff that we didn't want to lose it and we didn't
Yeah.
want to take chances. Think back if you watch sports back in '03, NBA players used to sign what 6, 7, 8 year deals for $100 million
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
because they wanted that security to
Yeah.
know
That
they
don't
good.
happen
Now,
anymore.
players taking 2 year, $80 million deals. And I'm bet on myself. I'm gonna do
Mm-hmm.
another 2 year, $80 million deal later because they have the control. You ain't about to trade me. I'm gonna go where I want to go. You're gonna
Right.
trade me.
Right.
I'm gonna give me for 1 year and I'm out. Like
That's why
that's a
LeBron been
new
on
thing.
so many teams.
Fact. And every time, always signing a 2 and 3 year deal every time, or a
Mm-hmm.
4 year with an option after the second. No, I need options because we're learning our values. We're learning we have
Yeah.
control. We're learning our space in the market and how things move. And the more we learn that, the more things are going to shift, which goes back to the slave parenting and as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to the information parenting. Like, let your
Right.
kids know they got value. Hip hop culture creates the trends that everybody else markets and sells.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So let your kids,
Facts.
hey, be creative. You ain't got to be submissive. Create, wear what you want to wear, dress how you want to dress within reason, and teach that type of stuff, and teach freedom, and
Mm-hmm.
teach, to be responsible with that freedom. Man, we're gonna end up with some dope ass kids out here.
Accountability. Stop leaving that
Yep.
shit to the schools and teach your fucking kids, yo.
That's hard. I ain't gonna hold you up.
It
It's
I
is
mean,
hard. But you know what? Oh, go ahead.
they having to teach the children just with the virtual learning right
Virtual
now,
learning.
and
Yep.
that shit
yeah.
is out of control, and it's
People
not
going crazy. And you know what?
working. Yeah.
It's crazy to me. I used to homeschool my kids. I enrolled them in school. Um and this shit is crazy because I was already homeschooling them. But
Mm.
now it's twice as hard as it was before. But I think it's because when I was doing it solely myself, we chose our own schedule. We picked and choose,
Right.
or I was able to pick and choose what days the lessons were going to be, exactly what the lesson for the day was. We had all the worksheets printed out, workbooks ready, all that shit. Now I'm losing my fucking mind because I'm trying to help my kids and work and follow this school schedule that doesn't help our lives in any way. No way at all. I'm really about to like fuck this shit and disenroll everybody and go back to printing out a million fucking worksheets a day because it was easier.
It showed me this that just how little or how much we depend on other people to raise our kids.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like we depend on having them people have kids with
Hmm.
the understanding that I'm gonna have 8 hours a day free to yada yada yada.
I don't got my kids. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be in school and I gotta worry about them during the summer, worry about them during this time or that time.
Hmm.
We don't even be thinking like,
Yep.
bro, like
I thought it was crazy. I keep seeing this meme circulating Facebook about bringing back home economics. How are our children supposed to learn the basics if they don't have home economics? Bitch, it's called home economics. Teach that shit at home. All home ec does is teach the kid what the fuck they should be learning at home. Anyway, how to cook, how to clean,
bro, that goes for all
home
them.
ec, how,
They
how
need
to
to be
sew.
teaching your kids taxes in school. How about you
Right,
teach your kids taxes and credit?
right.
Like, but it just how little we expect it. Because even me, it took me a
Hmm.
minute. Like, me getting laid off from work was a blessing. Because like, yeah, I'm paying the bills and doing the money thing, but the involvement matters more. Like, you
Right.
gotta be here.
You have
And
that
this home
time.
checking these computers and checking the work and was this turned in, was that turned in, teaching stuff that they don't get because the teacher trying to explain on a virtual thing and then during office hours and it ain't sticking. Like, bro, like
Hmm.
that's actual work that I don't think a lot of us parents in this era really took into
Want to do.
consideration. Like,
Yeah.
these teachers is doing like 70% of our job for us, like off
Yep.
off bells, like they hold
And
it
they're not
down for us.
supposed to be. They go
But
above and fucking beyond. A lot of them go above and beyond. A lot of them.
yeah, man, this whole situation is giving me a
True
newfound
story.
respect for them because it's like, bro, they really be doing way more. you know, and making our job, bro, Monday through Friday from 6 in the morning till 4. Like, we ain't gotta be parents for real. And we be mad as hell when they call us because they got in trouble in the classroom.
Right, and now you gotta discipline your
Yeah, like you really gotta raise them on your own.
That shit's just sad. We gotta do better all around. Well, before we go, I'm gonna play this track by Mr. Savior Monroe. We play him on a lot of music. We've played a lot of music by him. He just dropped a Royale version of his Metaverse. He dropped me a track from it. I'll play it. Check it out. Check it, check it, check it, check it out. Check it out. Do. Ooh. Let me move that shit so I can press play.
Everything in my fucking sight has to fucking die.
I want y'all niggas to get in your b-boy stances for this one, you know what I'm saying? B-boys and girls, hey yo, hip-hop doesn't mean a thing to you niggas. Treat it like an escort or fiend when you visit, cause you would rather get in the movies or screw the groupies. You do it loosely, but hip-hop ain't the one to be abused. See, this shit has saved lives to some inmate wives. The culture is immortal because energy can't die. Living off the past like a memory can't lie. But honestly, the future of the industry ain't fly. We gotta deal with corporate executives and their messages. Hiring a horrible pair of kids to sell this shit. Screw the algorithms cause they move the active system to practice rhythm and sell us liquor holes and a trap to live in. Everything they promoting is lacking Activision. They playing games with the culture like they Activision. My Call of Duty is to crash the bandit cool. They the animals, I spiral out control like a dragon do. But move like Sekiro when I step to those. Show them how I step in souls. Walk with me, I bless they soul. People think I never made it like neglecting goals. I chose independence and I never sell my soul. I'd rather make 3K than 300K if it means forcing me to act upon something gay. I'd rather make 6K than 66K if I gotta rely on a label for my kids' sake. I'd rather own my masters and my publishing and keep the culture alive. You niggas still fucking it. Do a lot of coon shit in the public. They calling you a nigger in private and you loving it. Integrity is my specialty and my weaponry. Every rhyme I write is like ecstasy with embedded speech. Before I let a corporate exec go to bed with me, I'll be the bad boy 9 years after 18 Pistons. Detroit nigga like Dumas in a no-fly zone, tricking the goon squad. Words like a ooh-wop, talking that hoopla. Taking niggas to school, you scamming like Umar. Egypt, I'm a moon raw. Latin, I'm Jew-ball. With the speed of Mach, go in a new car. So the industry can suck a dick when it's blue balls. In music, independence lead to your true call. But move like Sekiro when I step to those. Show them how I step in souls. Walk with me, I bless they soul. People think I never made it like neglecting goals. I chose independence and I never sell my soul. But move like Sekiro when I step to those. Show them how I step in souls. Walk with me, I bless they soul. People think I never made it like neglecting goals. I chose independence and I never sell my soul. I never sell my soul. No.
Yeah, I hate life between.
Oh, I'm muted. Oh shit, I was muted. No, it's kind of crazy how that song kind of just kind of fell in line with everything we just talked about. What y'all think of that track?
Straight.
Just Savior Monroe. Shadows Die Twice. I forgot to tell y'all the name of it. Shadows Die
Dope
Twice.
title.
You say what?
That's the dope title.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can dig it. I like that.
Yeah, I like Savior Monroe. He's pretty dope. Dope MC, Campfire Connection. They have that whole little camp is just fire. It's probably why it's campfire. Probably could have thought of something better to say there. Whatever. Any final thoughts?
Raise your kids, nigga.
Motherfucker.
We need to find a way to help mend the sibling rivalries that are getting to the point of fatality.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so we just gotta pump up camaraderie and stop invalidating other people's experiences, especially when it comes to their parents. Like, if I'm 12 years older than you, the mother that I had is not the same as the mother that you had. Like, period.
Right.
When it comes to certain stuff. And if we can get there at least,
then we might be,
on
on the
the right
road
path.
to somewhere.
A little bit. You got a final thought, Huey?
Unite before it's too late.
Yeah. We getting there slowly but surely.
It's
I
starting
like
to
to
feel
think.
too late.
Yeah. Not happening fast enough, but it's happening.
Being dead serious. Most people don't understand
Won't
that
blow
they
it
play
till
chess
getting
and we
late.
play checkers.
Yeah. Very, very true. I will say shit, everything y'all said. Teach your own damn kids. Unite. Stop the sibling rivalries. Realize we can all love each other and grow together. So that's what we're supposed to do as a family. Supposed to, I guess. Don't always happen. Um, but I think my final thought would be do better for yourself, for your kids, for your family, do better. Just I don't know. Shit, that's all I can say. Fucking do better. Fuck. That's it. That's all I got. All right, y'all. Well, it's been fun.
Yeah,
Interesting as
Yeah.
always.
Good hearing y'all thoughts, man.
absolutely.
Yeah. Of
And thanks for all the happy birthday wishes. I appreciate y'all. I love Awkward
course.
Menage. We're the shit.
Awkward Minaj loves you too. You're the shit.
Hey,
Like
thank you.
I legit wanted a female on the show, but I'm like, shit. The way the men we have on the show be talking, I don't know if they gonna be able to handle it. Nope.
Damn, you tired.
Shu was the perfect fit.
Like a glove, honeycomb.
Right, right. Get right back with him. That's what I like. All right, y'all. But have a good night. Be safe. Wear your mask.
Please do.
Wear your motherfucking mask. Peace.
Bye.
Peace out.